be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Clinically Average Podcast. As always, I'm Wolf, and here with me is Patrick.
That's me.
That's you.
That's me.
What are we going to talk about today?
We are doing what is essentially a recap of 2023.
Okay.
And if you're reading the title, then yes, it is part 2 of our first real episode, being Alive Time versus Dead Time.
So, this will just be an update, recap, new information, new stuff, new blog of Alive Time, Dead Time. So, if you haven't seen Alive Time, Dead Time Part
Episode
1, you can find that at the clinicallyaveragepodcast.com.
That.
Where it's going to be down here. You can listen to that and this episode on spotify.com/clinicallyaveragepodcast is what you're going to search on there. YouTube, Clinically Average, or at Clinically Average Podcast. Instagram, our central hub of news, information, posts, pictures, outlets, and stuff. At clinically_average_podcast. We have a TikTok.
We do.
And the TikTok is at Clinically Average. There's
Get in
content there. And we have a Facebook page that we keep people updated on who are just on Facebook, and that's Clinically Average Podcast Facebook group.
We're everywhere.
We out here.
We out here.
We outside.
We move different.
We're not outside. We're in the studio.
We are inside.
Doing the work. Putting in
Eventually,
the
we'll
man
do a
hours.
podcast on a boat.
Oh, you said it.
That's when you know we've made it.
You said it now. Now it's out there.
We're going to record live on a boat. Just because.
You're making this real difficult for
I had a
me.
dream about it.
We're going to need a fucking generator
I had a dream about it. It's going to happen.
that we're podcasting from a boat.
We're gonna
Was it a nice boat or a bad
No, it was like a fishing boat.
Like a John boat with
Like
a
a little,
horse?
that guy in like a fishing coat, like one of the raincoats, would be out there fishing in like a little like tin can.
Like the dude on the frozen fish package?
The Gordon Fisherman.
Gordon Fisherman, yeah.
That kind of boat. In the dream, a hole comes into it and it sinks. But, details.
We're on a boat. We're recording on a boat.
We're getting very meta here.
We're way off. All right, so for anyone who's just joining us and hasn't listened or
Hello,
read
welcome.
about Alive Time, Dead Time, go check out episode 1.
Indeed.
That was episode 1.
That was our first one.
Go check out episode 1. Get a baseline for this. And if you didn't do that, shame on you. But a quick recap. Alive Time, Dead Time. So Alive Time, we all go through these different phases in life. You categorize them as live time and dead time.
Mm-hmm.
They're different lengths, different experiences, different situations that kick you into the different phases.
Yeah.
But the idea is that there's two distinct phases.
You're always in one of two phases.
You're always in one of them, and things will kick you in and out into the other ones. So, Alive Time. Cool, calm,
No.
collect. No, that's God.
You always get it
cannot do this. All right, so Dead Time.
Dead time is Alive Time. Now you got me confused.
Okay, Dead Time. Cool, calm, collect. You have a steady job.
Yeah.
You're in a comfortable relationship. It's like smooth, calm waters.
It's
on the ocean.
complacency.
It's complacency. Everything's fine. You're not struggling. You're comfortable.
But you aren't necessarily striving to do anything else because you feel comfortable.
Right. And why would
You
you?
might be a little overweight. Maybe your relationship's not as good as it could be. Maybe you don't love your job so much. Kids are stressing you out. Just it's like you're being chipped away at by life, but you're not really doing anything to make any big dramatic changes because overall you're comfortable.
Maybe have some long-term goals you're working towards, but you're not aggressively propelling or excelling.
Yeah, you're not
forward.
making big, drastic, impulsive life changes or anything like that.
Now, when a major life change does happen,
Yeah. Like getting laid off from your job, divorce,
changing careers,
health issues,
something dramatic, something sudden,
a death in the family.
something can disrupt that complacency, disrupt that comfortability, and push you into a live time.
Yes.
And now in a live time, I kind of think of it as like a little bit of a manic state. Like
Yeah.
things are disrupted, things are stirred up, and now you are at it on the ground, boots on the ground, pushing forward, actively making progress towards something.
You are basically, in a sense, working your way to the next dead time. The next time where you can just be comfortable, not grinding your ass off, not manically worried about what's going to happen next. Get to some level of stability. It's like the periods between stability.
Okay.
It's like, so look at like dead time as stable, complacent, and then dead time as manic and like searching for answers, looking for progress.
Pushing forward.
Yes.
I always think about like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like dead time, your needs are being met. You're fine.
The quality of them is up for debate, but you have them.
You have them. In a lifetime, something got disrupted, and now you are working to fill that and get back to your
To reclaim
comfortability.
your hierarchy of needs. Maybe you have to rearrange what that looks like, and you have to reassess how you were living before and all that kind of stuff. And what this episode is pretty much coming down to is we've kind of, since the beginning of this podcast, and even before that, I think we've like worked our way back into a period of dead time, so to speak.
Yeah.
The constant manic episodes of like constantly just like being like wired, looking for something to do, trying to fill the empty time. And now it's like, oh, I can work on these things. I can find time for like to relax, and I can like enjoy the moment. It's not a constant like stream of like anxiety
Yeah.
and stress and like prone to bouts of depression out of nowhere.
Like just recently, I've learned to relax again.
Yeah, as I said, in the last month, I think it has a lot to do with it being winter and like the sun, going down at an absurdly early time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm actually kind of feeling tired. It is like 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. And I'm like, I do want to just chill in the house and read a book or like watch a movie, play a video game, and not feel this insane sense of like guilt. Like, oh, I should be out there doing something. I could be doing more. But you want to have that voice in your head. I think the point of this is like, okay, I'm aware now of this concept. I'm taking note that I'm going into a more of a comfortable state. Mm-hmm. How do I like almost simulate a lifetime in a way? Not in an unhealthy way where I'm like constantly manic, but like, okay, what got me here last time? I think I even said in that last blog in the podcast was like, once you get into dead time, don't forget what got you through a lifetime.
Okay.
Like take the lesson. That's what this is about. Taking the lessons we learned in that dead time period.
In the alive time period.
Or, yeah, in a lifetime period. And take those lessons and make them fit into your life now that you're like more stable, but take the lessons learned and move forward.
If your alive time is the manic motivation, you need to carry the discipline lessons into
Yes.
your dead time.
You do it in a less and instead of doing it in a motivated way, do it in a disciplinary way.
Look at all of these concepts and episodes we do coming full circle and intertwining.
12 episodes later.
There was something to be said there about the product dysmorphia. I think
Productivity dysmorphia.
I think a part of coming back into this dead time, I think, is conquering that.
Finding balance.
Yeah.
Like I said, the manic mania craziness of the alive time makes you want to just do more.
Yeah.
No rest, just keep fucking doing more, burn yourself out. Whereas now that you're back to stability, you want to avoid burnout. So it's like, how can I make progress in these things I'm working towards without burning myself out?
Yeah. So when we do quick recaps of our 2023, just major events that kind of tripped us up and kicked us around.
I mean, the big thing.
Do that, or
I mean, we could do that unless you want to just go into the lessons. I think we'll probably glean that information through it.
Okay.
To be honest,
it's whatever. It works.
Do you want to start one? You want me to start?
You start.
Okay. So these are kind of in sequential order for like how I went through the year. I was going through my notes, but the first big quote, I always judge by what quotes made it to my inspirational kitchen chalkboard.
Okay.
And the first one I wrote this year after being put into my alive time was, "There is peace in giving your all, but still utterly failing." And it's a big way of saying just like, leaving it all on the field. You gave it your all. Like, you don't have any regrets. Like, if you know in a situation that failed, but you can objectively look and say, hey, I did everything I was supposed to do. I did what I needed to do. I did the right things. I, stood by my values, gave it my all, gave 110%. It wasn't meant to be. This thing wasn't going to work.
Right.
And I don't have to sit and do you don't have the regret of like, oh, what if I had just done this? If I had just said that? If I had, just tried this instead of that? It's like, no, you did all that and then some. So it's like, you're not going to live with those regrets because like if it was going to happen any other way, it would have.
Right.
Because there's nothing more you could have done. And that gives you a peace of mind that you wouldn't have if you're just sitting here like combing over, oh man, if I would have did that. Oh, because inherently if you have regrets, it means you probably didn't give 100%.
Yeah.
And you kind of know that.
There's something missing from your arsenal.
There's a guilt. There's a guilt associated with it then.
It's like, oh, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it's too late.
Yeah. And then that kind of eats at you.
Mm-hmm. But if you know that you've went through the playbook, exhausted every option, tried everything and did everything you could have done, there is a level of serenity to that. There is a, just like you said, just, hey, I did what I could do.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough, or it just wasn't going to happen.
I'll give the quote due diligence. It was to Dr. K from the Healthy Gamer GG YouTube channel.
Nice.
Big fan of Dr. K. But so I figured the ones I have actual quotes for,
Oh, that was his quote.
Yeah, that was his quote.
I don't know if I've cited all my quotes.
I don't have them all cited, but the ones I remember who they were from, I've mentioned.
Yeah.
And some are ones I made up.
Oh, you have your own originals.
One of the things I heard the other day was like taking the idea that true understanding of like philosophy is being able to take it, maybe even like dissect it and put it in your own words.
Okay.
It's like the best way to like gain an understanding of it.
Look, there's a level of that to anything. If you can teach something, you truly understand
Yeah.
it.
So if you're just verbatim ripping quotes, you might not actually fully get it. But if you can actually succinctly put it in your own words, then there you go.
Makes sense.
But yeah, you got one? We can alternate.
Yeah. This is what we're doing. We're just quoting back and forth.
Yeah.
All right.
Quotes and then give a little blurb about like why it's important to you and what you learn from it.
Okay. I'll start off with this one from the book Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Impressing people is utterly different from being truly impressive. There's a big distinction there. So a lot of people do things to impress people. It's shallow. It's
external validation.
It's external validation. It's here. It's now. It's it's hey, look at me. I'm cool. It's the attention.
It's needy.
It's very needy. But being truly impressive is just you being in your element, your existence, your presence in a situation.
It's the law
Changes
of attraction.
everything. Yeah.
Because if you're being authentic and just doing your thing, and that inherently is impressive to people, you will attract attention.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be impressive as like a goal, then you are inherently giving off needy, desperate vibes, and people pick up on those frequencies.
Yeah. So when I try to keep that always in the back of my head of just, am I doing something to impress somebody? Am I doing something to get some sort of shallow gratification or short-term gratification out of this? Or am I impressing people just by my own aura, my own power, the way I'm conducting myself, and the energy and the aura and the power that I bring to a situation.
It's good. We didn't plan these quotes, like sync them up.
No.
But that's definitely playing into what kind of becomes a thematic tie-in of my post for the blog, and all of the quotes in there is very much the idea of finding your authentic self.
Yeah.
Is kind of what the whole overarching theme is, and that plays right into it.
No, and I think that's
Genuine authenticity is inherently magnetic,
Yeah.
whereas if you're putting on like a persona or a fake version of yourself, a lot of people can pick up on the inauthenticity of it.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something we translate to this podcast. Is this is truly authentic things we're experiencing, things we're learning, things we're discussing about and interested in, and it's just becoming, and all these things that we talk about to try to bring bring a level of that to my life, to my everyday life.
Yeah.
I think about motivation and discipline. Like, I did not want to go to the gym today. I drove there, I sat there in the car, was thinking about, like, well, technically it's a rest day and this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay, I need to have my discipline right now. Maybe I need a shot of motivation, but I need to rely on my discipline.
That's we said in the motivation and discipline episode, which go check that out if you haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I always do this scale of, is this a mental problem or is this a physical problem?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm going and I'm like physically not doing well, like I'm beat up, maybe feel like an injury coming on. It's like, okay, today probably makes sense. If it's like all mental, it's like, no, go, because you'll probably feel better afterwards because you get a little win.
Yeah.
You need wins wherever you can get them. Every day, 24-hour period, get as many wins as you can.
Stack them up.
All right.
What do you got?
We'll volley here. Next one, this also made my board. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for. Okay. And I'll, quote this one. I know he's divisive. Once again, this is Jordan Peterson quote.
Oh.
Yeah. But like I said, try and separate the quote from the persona on this one.
Okay.
Because he when he's in his bag, he's good. When he's talking about global warming, maybe let's not take what a Canadian psychologist has to say about it with too much weight. But I am going to read from this one because it really kind of went down to one of the big things that's helped me learn about myself this year is I've always had a people-pleasing, like, fixer mentality. Mm-hmm. And I guess what I found out is how that's problematic, not virtuous. Because you would think, like, people-pleasing sounds like a good thing if you take it literally. You're pleasing other people. The problem comes when you realize that not everyone is wired that way. So, like, ultimately, you find yourself sacrificing more of yourself as you prioritize the happiness of those around you. Once again, sounds good for them, right? But who doesn't want someone prioritizing them? Turns out a lot of people actually don't want you prioritizing them. Like, at the end of the day, we as individuals are responsible for our own emotional state. And as much as it's hard for me to admit, prioritizing someone over yourself in the hopes that they will reciprocate that same level of prioritization for you is manipulative.
Okay.
Being a martyr for those around you does not build mutual respect, which I do believe is the intention behind sacrificial behavior. But instead it builds resentment for the person who feels underappreciated, the people pleaser, but also for the person who feels manipulated to reciprocate. So basically, you focus on satisfying yourself, and coincidentally, you will attract other people who are in a similar emotional state. Fixing someone by sacrificing your own comfort creates a vertical relationship with them where they feel beholden to you, not out of desire, but out of expectation. Okay. That's the big, long dodge. It took me, like, I heard that quote beginning of the year, but it took like 6 months for me to fully fucking with more compounding lessons, fully realize what that kind of means.
All right, so let's walk through that. Let's expand on that. The one part of it is always like creating those vertical and horizontal dynamics. Mm-hmm. When you what's the idea? Whenever you are people pleasing somebody, you're creating that they're beholden to you.
You're creating a hierarchy.
Yeah, and you don't want that. You certainly don't.
Even
want
if you're
that.
not doing it intentionally, because trust me, as someone who's been a lifelong people pleaser, the idea is to satisfy that person.
Yeah.
But I knew this lesson too, because deep down, I've always hated when people did that shit to me growing up, where someone does something, unsolicited help.
Yeah, and
someone helps you, I had that. Maybe I was I didn't want to do it today. I was going to do it tomorrow, but then they go do it for you. And I was like, well, now I kind of feel fucking guilty.
Yeah. I had that. I got that,
and it's even if they don't want anything from it, some people, their love language is helping people. Mm-hmm. That's a real thing. So it's but there's a distinction, I think, where you have a line of people pleasing is the toxic version of just helping, but some people take it too far, because I think people pleasing. I mentioned the word martyr. So when you look at the Jungian psychology of the archetypes, mm-hmm. the one is the people who sacrifice, to help you. I forget what the actual term is for it. It's the healer or the helper, they call it. Okay. Every archetype has the quality, but then it has their shadow side. The shadow side of the healer is the martyr. And a martyr is someone who is bitter and resentful. So like the people, I know a lot of people in my life who would do those things, who are quick to help, bend over backwards, do everything for you, say they don't need anything.
But they're equally as.
But when the chips are down and they have a bad day, they're the kind of person who explodes and is like, I do all this shit for everyone, and no one ever does anything fucking for me. And I caught myself doing that. And I was just like mortified. Like, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I'm doing that thing where I feel like because I do and sacrifice so much for certain people in my life, I'm good. I can keep it contained for a very long time. But then we get in a fight, and I feel then it's like that bitterness and that resentment that has been like way down here comes to the top. And it's like, oh, that's not okay. Now, I can have all my issues with that person, but it's still not okay for me to explode in that way and feel like, oh, you fucking owe me.
Yeah, because no one asked you to do these things. You did.
Even if they kind of did ask you. It's insinuated
kinda
sometimes. But it's like, I have the power to set boundaries and say, no, you're asking too much.
Yeah. Is the point of when someone does something for you, like unsolicited, someone does something for you, and then they weaponize it.
That's kind of when
The same thing is just like,
it's weaponizing the people. People pleasing comes from the place of insecurity.
hey, I did this for you, you owe me now. It's like, no.
Even if you're not doing it intentionally. I think a lot of it came down. So, like, for me in a situation, it was in a giver/taker relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's just the idea that eventually, like in my head, it's like they're eventually going to stop just taking, and they're going to eventually. I don't have a problem giving, but at some point, this has to get reciprocated, right?
You would think.
So it's like I didn't want to be toxic about it, but it's like, years go by, and it's like this is a very one-sided relationship. And it's like, this has to go the other way at some point. And then when it starts getting really downhill, then it's like, well, fuck it. I'm pissed. This is like a sunken cost fallacy. Like, I've put so much in this and got nothing. It's like, I understand, but I also understand I put myself in the position to become a martyr, to get myself from helping someone out of the kindness of my heart and out of a loving way to now I'm bitter and resentful.
Yeah,
because I let it get too far out of hand.
When you volunteer and you do these things, you don't get to then be resentful of it and then work on make it like a conditional and transactional love.
Yeah, because like that's the problem is like I had years and time to notice that trend of, okay, me doing this doesn't necessarily get anything. I still like doing it.
Yeah,
but like this is a matter of like I think learning what boundaries are.
Well,
like,
okay,
I'm overextending myself.
So is there an element to you can do these things? I can do these things. I can help you. I can make your day better. I can do whatever I'm doing. If it's unconditional and you absolutely, if you do it for the person, not for the reciprocation.
I think and I think where blurs the line is if you do it unconditionally, and like I'm not expecting anything back from this,
right?
But if like I'm noticing that it's a very one-sided thing, like it's like 90-10, I then have a choice to stop giving so much.
Correct.
To let it get to a point where it builds resentment. I can just like notice, like, oh, I'm doing a lot. I can put some boundaries up and like stop being so free giving with my love.
Yeah.
Like I can still do that, but like it's like finding, because then like you don't want to be that martyr who becomes bitter and resentful over your own kind of kindness. Like you're like a victim of your own kindness at that point. And then you kind of become explosive.
Is there a way to do that without
I think it depends
letting
on
that resentment build?
I think it depends on who you're willing to give your stuff to. If you are people pleasing with someone, I don't want to call people. If you are literally just like loving someone unconditionally, like it depends on who you're giving that love to. So like if you're giving it to someone who is going to take advantage of that, then this is bound to happen at some point.
Right.
I think it's identifying those warning signs in the relationship, the friendship, the business associate you're with, any of these kind of like keeping the relationship horizontal. Because if you keep giving and they just keep taking, it's eventually going to become a vertical relationship.
Right. But like
finding a way to keep it the signs and keep it horizontal.
Keep it a partnership.
Yes, because if you keep doing more, you're just kind of you're moving up as they're staying on this axis.
And you're keeping it, and then you're developing that that vertical relationship, that power dynamic.
Yes.
And what you want is a
give and
lateral.
take.
A give and take, a lateral, a partnership.
If you just keep giving, they keep taking. Both of you are creating this vertical relationship. The taker is putting themselves down here, and you are putting yourself up there. But it's like you have to look out for that.
Okay.
So it's the thing where it's on both people. It's like people pleasing. I think people get confused. Think it's like virtuous. Like I'm just this good person who's now being a victim of a bad person. It's like in one sense, but that's you completely negating your role in it. Yeah. Which is that you had a choice from the beginning to notice these signs. You did not do it.
You're allowed to do good things for people in your life.
This is not to say don't. This is not to become bitter and resentful. Like, fuck it, I'm not giving anything. It's like,
no, you're allowed to do
identify
good things and show love and acts of service.
But you have to determine where your boundaries go and who you're willing to like bend over backwards for, and who you're not going to.
So is it my fault if I'm giving and ignoring red flags and ignoring how the dynamic is developing?
It means you're complicit. It doesn't mean that person's like absolved of their role in it.
Right, but it's
like you are complicit.
You're hurting yourself.
Yeah, you're complicit in this. It doesn't mean you're just this like blameless victim.
Okay. What else is in that paragraph? There's a couple other things we should have dissected, but we got into that vertical.
I mean, I feel like we hit most of the stuff in there. Yeah, I think we got it. What's the next one? Like I said, a lot of these things will tie into it, so we'll probably get back to it maybe.
Yeah, sure. This one's real quick and simple, but
quickie.
It's another one of those things. It's just like try to think about it every day and try to, when I find myself in a situation, gratitude is the attitude.
Nice. Like a little aphorism.
It is. It's just, that's it. Because I think I got the boys hyped in the fitness chat one day because it was like, I don't know, just in a super good mood. And I was grateful. I was grateful for the opportunity to train chest.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh, I got to go to the gym. Oh, I got to spend 2 hours here. No, like I'm healthy. I have two arms, 2 legs. I'm breathing.
2 tits.
2 tits. 2 massive, powerful tits. I bench press a lot. And it's like, that is just the attitude. The attitude, I was grateful to be here. Grateful for this opportunity.
You change the wording. You get to do it.
Yeah.
It's like that real simple, like, turn of phrase. Like, changing one word.
Yeah. I don't have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym.
And it sounds corny, but, like, literally, it's one of those things you can do in your life where you just change the wording of things you say.
Yeah.
It takes away, like, a lamenting tone and gives it, like, a positive tone just by switching one word.
Yeah. And it's like you get to do these things, and you get to change the whole experience just by trying to work in some gratitude. Like, I get to go to work today. There's a lot of people that are unemployed. Like, I get to go to the gym today. There are a lot of people who can't go to the gym.
I get to go to my house and hang out with my anxious, crazy dogs.
Yeah, you get to go to your house.
Yeah.
I don't have a house.
Yeah.
I want a house. But just by starting to work in that gratefulness and changing that mindset, it really just has just compound interest on the rest of your day.
Yeah.
And it just, when you start changing that verbiage and when you start thinking in terms of gratitude instead of attitude, or I don't know, it's just real simple. It's cliche. It sounds stupid, but it really fucking works. It really works.
Sometimes it's keep it simple, stupid. You don't need to have a big long diatribe for it. Sometimes you just need a little quick quote.
Yeah, and it's I try to think of one thing every day. Sometimes it hits me early. Sometimes it's got to be the last thing I do before I go to bed. But it's like, what's one thing you're grateful for today?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and sometimes that is like, I got to go to the gym today.
Sometimes you need that one thing to hang your hat on.
Yeah. And try to work something in like that on the daily. What are you grateful for today? Oh, I got to hang out and record a podcast with my friend. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
As I said earlier, just passing, you want to get as many W's in the day as you can. Sometimes it's just one.
Yeah.
But it's like hang your hat on that one and use that to get you through it.
Yeah.
Next one I have is separate the feelings from the facts.
Okay.
Which is actually a nothing nowhere quote.
Is it?
I mean, it's a quote people use, but I heard it in a song.
All right. Well, lay it on me.
I mean, I basically go on a long diatribe here, which I'm not going to do, but it's fun. Basically, your brain is split into different regions, and one of the big ones is the feeling section of your brain. The limbic system governs mood. Then we have your lizard brain, just like eating, fucking, sleeping. That's the lizard brain, like your brainstem, the basal ganglia, that kind of shit. And then you have your thinking brain, which is the frontal lobe. So your brain is always like split up into this. Like, so you do like the feeling brain, thinking brain.
Okay.
Thinking brain's logic, reason, all that good stuff. Feeling brain is at the mercy of your chemicals, just what it's doing. But I said the part that's maddening and why you got to learn to separate feelings from the facts is because the feeling brain, who is the most crazy one, most unstable of them all, is the one who always insists on driving the car.
Yeah.
Like, he always has to do the itinerary. Meanwhile, thinking brain and lizard brain are in the, like, I imagine like the thinking guy in the car just like doing like the exasperated Ben Affleck look.
Yeah.
And then
Christ,
there's
here
like
we go.
there's a lizard in the back seat just hanging out, and they're just like, God, here, oh my God,
Again. Here we go again.
like the thinking brain's just like exasperated dad. The lizard's just like, oh, there's a Wendy's,
We didn't eat today.
oh, there's a brothel, there's a strip club, like, oh, look at look at her walking on the side of the road, and the feeling brain's just like listening to 2000s emo, and we're like, is this really necessary right now? We're on a road trip, we're trying to have fun right now.
Cut my wrist in black boy.
Yeah, like he's just a fucking wild card, and so it's like you can like have a.
But that guy's always in the driver's seat.
He's always in the driver's seat.
No matter
Thinking
what.
brain and lizard brain are trying to make suggestions, and he takes them or doesn't take them. So like when you're like thinking about like a traumatic situation, like a really emotionally charged memory or something like that, like your logical brain can be like, okay, no, that's false. Don't think that. It's like the what if, the regrets. Oh man, everyone hates me. Oh, you start thinking these irrational thoughts. Like your logical brain's like, no, and here's like 20 reasons why that's false. But your feeling brain has so much pull that it's just like, no.
Yeah, it just has so much.
Everyone hates me. I'm a fat piece of shit. No one will ever love me.
That fucking piece of shit. Ugly God.
And the thinking brain's like,
damn it.
dude, you're like 15% body fat. You're fine.
You're all right.
You're all right. Calm down.
Someone will take you to prom.
And it's like, so like you have these things where you're just like trying to like distract the feeling brain with like little like oh, a piece of candy.
Yeah.
Oh, a piece of candy. And then you like try and work some shit out.
In the Mark Manson book, he talks about like play into feeling brains feels.
You compromise with them.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, yeah, I know you don't feel like going to the gym, but you know how good we feel after we get out of the
It's
gym?
like talking to a kid.
Yeah, you just leave them alone.
You learn to like compromise with your feeling brain. It's like I use the analogy of like, I'm going off on like a sad late night drive, just collect my thoughts. And it's like, what? I'm going to humor feeling brain. Yes, let's go for a little drive, listen to some sad mid 2000s emo, and just ponder the orb.
Wander into the orb with the
And
boys.
like, it's like, all right, that'll make him better. We'll go home. We'll go to sleep now. And then he'll be all tuckered out.
Yeah.
And we can go to sleep. Like you like compromise with him. But then there's a second part of that where I realized like also, but this is something you have to do because one of the things I talk about in therapy is like a coping mechanism people have is intellectualizing their problems. That's all logic brain where you purely look at it in like ones and zeros, like a tragic situation or a traumatic
I do
situation.
that. I'm real good
and you
at
just
that.
ones and zero it. You're just like, okay, this happened because this happened, therefore this is what happened. And you use that to like comfort yourself. But you're not feeling the feelings.
Yeah.
And it's like the logic brain can figure this shit out real quick. It takes the feeling brain a while to catch up. So like, you're just like, I just want to be over this. I get it. I learned the lesson. Come on, can we move on? But really, you haven't fully learned the lesson. You've intellectualized it,
But you haven't processed you haven't let feeling brain
but
do.
you gotta like get all that feeling out. So like this whole year for me has been like where I'll like go through periods like, oh, I'm good. I've intellectualized. I'm good. I got it. And those feelings they'll resurface over something stupid. And it's like,
waves.
Ooh. But that's what that is. That's like, no, you haven't fully felt this yet.
Yeah.
Here's some new feelings. Let's compartmentalize this. And it's like kind of like compartmentalizing the feelings as they come. It's like meditating. When the thought comes, don't try and fight it. Let it come and let it go on its own. It's like we're trying to fight. So we do want to separate the facts and the feelings, but it's also this like catch-22 of like, yeah, but you do want to feel that you can't suppress those feelings because they will find a way back up in probably a very unhealthy way eventually if you keep suppressing them.
I think my brain instantly goes to that and just, okay, logic brain figures it out. Here's the roadmap. But it's like, as me and Logic Brain has figured it out. Here's the flow chart. Here's all the
Your
answers.
GPS reroutes.
Yeah, it's like, no, come on. No. We did all this. We're done. And it's just like, no. He just
Jerks the wheel.
Yeah, just
We're
jerks
taking this
the wheel.
exit. Where's this exit even taking me?
God, stop it. We're done.
I said I'm done.
And then just feeling brain is just like smoking a cigarette, lean back, drive. I should call. And then takes the exit.
What would happen if we just went off this fucking hillside? We die, you dipshit.
We die. We did. That's a short flow chart.
I already know. Done the calculations. At this speed, from that height, we're done.
Will you crunch the numbers for me again?
We're crunching numbers, you fucking nerd.
God. So separate your facts from feelings.
Correct. What do you got?
What do I got? Oh boy, I don't know. I just have a hodgepodge of shit in here. Let's pick a good one.
Pick a good one. Pick me a winner.
Pick me a winner.
Need
Pick
some like
me a
game show
winner.
music. Do 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 do. How's that for ASMR?
Sexy.
Feels good.
James Clear in Atomic Habits.
You actually read it?
James Clear in Atomic Habits.
Did you get a bullet quote?
James Clear
The whole point
in
of
the
that
book
book-
Atomic Habits.
That still feels so wrong.
I know.
Of all books for you to just like read a quote online about and not read with the whole
No, I
point of
didn't
that
read
book.
online. I heard it on a podcast. And
Okay.
there was a good discussion on it.
Okay.
And I like the idea.
The whole point of that book.
And I'm
Like,
working.
make good habits like to read and like do the things you have to do. You're like, I'm gonna just.
I'll pick
not read
another
that book.
quote then.
No,
No,
let's hear it.
I
read
want
it.
to. I want to
read
pick
it.
another quote.
Okay.
I would like to pick another quote. I don't even like that quote.
Okay.
It was a joke, actually. I don't even have it written down.
Like any other book.
So, in Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah,
I like that
that's good. That's
because it's in the book that
you didn't read.
I purchased.
You purchased but did not read.
I read the first chapter and then I got distracted.
That's that. Checks
I'm
out.
not good at reading
Which
books.
is like the whole point of that book.
I
That's why you
can't
need to
read.
that book.
I know.
Like, to help
I
you-
get. Okay, I get it.
To help you with
All
that.
right. Fine, I'm picking another quote.
Or you
no,
got-
I'm doing another quote. I don't want to do that quote. Cancel that quote. I'll edit it out. I don't even like that quote. It's a stupid quote. It's a dumb quote.
No, it's a good quote. Just kind of ironic. Like the Alanis Morissette song. You want me to sing that while I wait for another goddamn quote?
Isn't it ironic?
Isn't it ironic?
It's a little ironic. No, it's so me bringing that quote up is the definition of irony. But I like it.
It's a good quote.
It's a good
I'm not saying
quote.
It's not a good quote. It's just considering the source is kind of fun.
Can we talk about it? Or are we just gonna talk about how ironic it is?
I mean, yeah, it's like I like James Clear's book because it's like when I read it, a lot of it was like, yeah, no shit. Like it's like he's not saying anything in that book that is just like, whoa,
Profound.
blew my mind, and he's just very like doesn't use big words. He's not doing anything flowery. It's just like, yeah, do this every day, and you're gonna have a net gain, and slowly going that way on the graph.
Yeah.
Like that's all the whole point of Top Hat is like little wins every day. Like make it so you can win more each day. So if you have your habit structure set up throughout the day, you're constantly getting wins because you're hitting your goals, mini goals, like micro goals, 24/7, like atomic goals. You're hitting them throughout the entire day, and that keeps you motivated to keep hitting all your goals. And then they're all mini goals, micro goals. Those before you know it, they're accumulating into big goals.
Yeah. A quote that goes with that quote: "It's better to be consistently good than occasionally great." So just chipping away, just building the system and putting the system in place.
We talked about in the one episode, it's compounding interest.
Yeah, it's the discipline.
It's like you
Having
you
the
put
discipline.
little in, these little investments compound into big investments.
And it's just that is just going to carry over time. It's going to carry you to a greater goal than trying to do it all today and then taking the next month off. There's another quote that goes with, like directly with that. Do, 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 do. This is Rich Roll said this on the Modern Wisdom
It was
podcast.
a great episode.
Reinvention occurs in the micro actions that you're taking every day. The tiny little actions that probably no one around you notices. Building muscle memory around your habits. Tiny little things add up over time. Tiny little things adding up over time is what produces dramatic changes. So it's just like we just said, changing the got to do ABC to I get to. That small change that no one knows because you did it in your head and you're speaking this to yourself. That subtle change over a year is going to, because now you're excited to go to the gym and now you're going to.
It all plays. One of the big things I learned this year, I'm going to do more on. I'm eventually going to do a topic on it. Is like the story we tell ourselves, which is a lot about how you talk to yourself, and it comes down to like how you tell the story of your day.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of stuff like mindset changes, where it's like in Atomic Habits, it's like if you identify as a certain kind of person, that's what you're going to be. Like, so it's like your limiting beliefs will keep you where you are. So it's like, I'm not a morning person. It's like, well, if you're identifying as not being a morning person,
You're never going to.
you're going to keep perpetuating that you're not a morning person.
Is that because
It's kind of like the positive aphorism thing, where it's like you tell yourself, it's more than just like tell yourself that you're, oh, now I'm a morning person. It's like, no, but if you keep telling yourself that, you will find yourself, and you start setting habits and goals around becoming a morning person, you can do it more. You're more likely to do it.
Okay.
I love just how you describe, how your inner voice describes yourself. So if you keep calling yourself fat, you're gonna keep acting like a fat. He's like, because he's like with the diet part. He's like, what would a skinny person do? Then you will start making the changes that you learned that a person who's fit or healthy would make, and then lo and behold, you start making those habit changes. You lose weight.
Yeah, and those habit changes and affirmations go both ways. What?
Aphorisms.
Aphorisms? Affirmations?
Affirmations, yeah.
Aphorismations.
We combined them.
Affirmation nations.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmation nation.
All right.
Write that down.
I-
Affirmation nation.
Is it going to be a book?
No, it's going to be a t-shirt company.
Oh,
Just write it down. Don't none of you steal it. That's mine. Copyright. Affirmation nation. But they go both ways, right? So it's, I get to go to the gym. I get to eat this clean meal. I get to go to work every day. The same thing works as when it's the other thing. It's like, well, I'm not a morning person. It's like your negative thoughts are going to create negative actions, negative habits, and it's going to manifest in your life.
Yeah.
Same thing is like the positive side to it. It's the double-edged sword. It goes both ways.
Yep.
So it's not just adding in like positive affirmations to generate positive habits that are going to give you positive results.
It's not fueling a delusion. It's like literally trying to like make actual habits that will turn that delusion from a delusion into a reality.
But it's not just adding the good. It's also eliminating the bad and the negative.
Because once you start making a habit tree of like what you want to do to get this positive thing, you'll really quickly see that these things are not beneficial to you anymore. These habits you have, you'll find out which ones are not beneficial and which ones are holding you back. All right, well, there we have a nice little Atomic Habits block. Next one I have, that kind of ties into the last couple. One says, in retrospect, that the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. I use that as the end of the quote for, actually, it might have been the first allowed time versus that time.
Wait, run that back.
One says, in retrospect, that the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a Nietzsche quote.
Nietzsche.
And I remember I came upon this back like in the middle of summer, like deep in the heat of a lifetime. Going for my feeling brain wanted to go for a late night emo cruise. And I remember sitting in the car and I was like thinking like, I was reflecting on the last time I was in a similar situation. And I was like, I remember at the time, it was like soul crushing. It was just this terrible time of my life where it's just like, oh, everything sucks. Like, I don't know if I'm ever, like, that wondering, that existential crisis part of it, where, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, that mystery, not knowing, being scared of it. Like, I don't know, I'm trying all my best. I don't know what's going to happen. And it was just terrible. But now when I look back on it, I'll hear, like, a song from that time period, or I'll hear, like, have a memory from that time period. It's, like, nostalgia. It's not bad. It's not dark. It's not, like, depressing. It's like, oh, wow. I showed extreme resilience in the face of like an existential crisis, got myself to a better place. And yeah, sure, maybe I tripped up and landed myself in a similar position, but this too, it was like a confidence. I've been here before.
This too will pass.
I've been here before. This too will pass, and in a year or two from now, I will look back on this in the same fond way. And a lot of it comes from like I'm internalizing the lessons learned. I know once I get out of this, I will be better. And it's like, why would I look back on a time that like benefited me and like made me grow as a person? Why wouldn't I look back at that time period with like reverence and like nostalgia?
Yeah.
Because it made me who I am now, who I think is an objectively better person. Why wouldn't I be thankful for that? In the moment, you can't be because it's fucking heartbreaking and crushing.
Yeah, but it's like,
but I'm like telling myself, I know I will get to that point when I will know this was all fucking worth it.
yeah. It's like looking back, like future me is going to look back on,
And be thankful for the decisions
Yeah.
I made during this.
yeah, on summer 23, summer and fall 23, and just be like, you know, it was a fucked up time. Wasn't great, but we got through it. And we're so much better because of it.
Like I said, because of the situation, I can look at it like now. Look at all the positives. Like without that happening, I wouldn't have experienced all the awesome things I did experience this year. New friends I made, the bonds I strengthened with my old friends to make better, like and learning more, and having a better relationship with myself. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that had what the bad thing hadn't happened.
Yeah.
So
Because sometimes you need that catalyst to start this transformation.
because like you look at it, it's like the thing was going that bad, it was going to keep going that way, and then you would have wasted even more time not being your true self.
And being bad to yourself and hating yourself.
That's a joke. I remember we were talking about back in the summer, like because now it's cold up, but in the summer, like we made the habit like the first like month or two in the summer, like almost every other night we'd end up on my front porch,
Yeah.
just chain smoking cigarettes, listening to sad music, drinking too much, and I was like, this is a phase. I'm aware this is a phase. We called them this before we did the podcast. It kind of like inspired us to get back into the podcast. Where it's like call these like the front porch sessions.
Porch sessions.
And it's like I'm gonna look back on the porch sessions very fondly. So like next summer, I feel like we'll inevitably end up there
On the porch.
but
with a
we'll
beer.
be like, oh man, here we are again. But hopefully, like presumably, in a way better place.
Yeah.
And we can look like, oh man, you were sad crying in that chair last year.
Now we're happy crying.
Now we're happy in this chair. I get to sit in this chair.
I get to sit.
I get to sit in this chair with my friend.
I don't have to go cry on Rick's
I don't
porch.
have to go cry on my porch, but we get
Now
to
we
cry on my
get
porch.
to cry on Rick's porch.
That's how you change it a year later.
I like that. I like get to cry on Rick's porch. No, the porch sessions were huge. The porch sessions were definitely.
It was the inspiration for this. It was like our like therapy sessions.
It was the laying out the logical work before because at that time it was like that was fresh. That was like even the big emotional waves, they were there and they were hitting, but they were like the mania was just like allowing you to get through it. And then it's well now what? Okay, so we laid out all the logic. We explained to ourselves this is the situation. This is what's going on. This is what's about to happen. We're about to get real sad about it. And then when those waves did hit and we started getting into the bigger porch sessions.
And then we like planned, I mean, we were always like planning for like, okay, what's like happens 6 months from now?
Yeah.
Like we keep each other kind of like grounded. Like, okay, this is gonna pass. Like, but we have to focus on the other aspects of our lives. What do we want to do? And like a lot of it we did.
Yeah.
Like we want to go out and like do this. We want to go try this. We want to meet new people, do these kind of things, have fun.
Yeah.
Like have cool new experiences. And we did all that because we sat on our fucking porch,
Laid the framework.
doing like private podcasts.
Yeah.
And we did it. We're on the other end of it.
We're here now. We're getting back into dead time.
Yeah. But I think we gotta speed this up, or it's gonna be a 2-hour episode. So maybe run through some more.
Where are we at? We're looking at that on
I
time.
mean, I don't mind if it's a little bit longer. It's kind of a special episode.
This is a special episode. This is a year-round episode. Well, you got another one ready?
I mean, I got it ready. Yeah.
Go ahead, give me one. Tell me.
The persona is incapable of receiving love, only praise.
The persona. Run it back again.
The persona is incapable of receiving love, only praise.
Okay. Break that down for me.
So I might have to read from this one to really kind of break this one down.
Okay.
But since learning that people pleasing and suppressing my actual personality didn't actually serve me, I've dropped my guard and let myself be the person that my inner circle of close friends has always known me to be. But a strange thing happened when I gained a little more of a not giving a fuck attitude. People actually accepted it, way more than they had previously. Sure, certain people who have known me for years but didn't know this side of me were a little uncomfortable at first, probably out of concern for me potentially having a full-on mental breakdown. But once this personality change became consistent, I think they begrudgingly accepted it. The best way I could describe it to a friend of mine was that what started as a mental breakdown turned into a mental breakthrough. I've been adopting a persona for most of my life, to live in a way that would serve others while sacrificing my own needs. I struggled with authentic self-love because I wasn't being my authentic self. I couldn't love my persona, therefore others couldn't love me. If that people-pleasing persona wasn't being praised, it wasn't feeling the facsimile of love.
Okay.
Did that long, pretentious jargon make sense?
Yeah. You gotta love yourself.
But you can't love yourself if you're playing a character. And then no one can love you because you're not being your real you.
It's
So
all
you're
about-
not, because no one can love you if you aren't loving yourself.
It's authenticity.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
The veil was lifted this year, and I kind of just like realized, okay, I was not being fully true to myself. I didn't hate myself, but I wasn't fully being. There was always a hint of that people-pleasing, character that was
Yeah.
being played, and it wasn't serving me. I learned like this never ends well. This
Yeah.
never ends well.
It started, so my running quote has always been, and it started pretty egotistical and not that great, but now it's kind of developed into a better sort. But my theory on life has always just been like, you can either party with me or get out of the way. And I kind of think of that as just like, I'm me. I'm going to do me because I believe in my moral compass. I believe that the things I do them for the right reasons. I think I do things that innately will help people, or a good outcome will come from it. I try to do things for the right reasons. I trust my moral compass.
Yeah.
I've tested it time and time again, and it always comes out that way. But that's me. That's my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to curate it for anybody. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't have any grudges. Just leave. Just remove me. Goodbye. I don't need that. But it's just when you are being authentic and when you are being yourself, when you are sticking true to your values, your virtues, your morals, you can love yourself, and other people will love you for it.
Because they know you're loving yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not loving yourself, people pick up on that.
No. So either you can ride with me or you can get the fuck out of the car. I don't care. I'm doing me. And I know it's going to be a good outcome. And I know I'm going to take care of the people that do ride with me.
Yeah.
And I know we're all going to have a good time. But if
Yeah.
you don't want to ride with me, get the fuck out of the car.
Yeah. And that's like ultimately always been like, for the most part, mine, but there's always been that people pleasing thing that's always held me back.
Yeah.
And I don't know what caused that. That's still always the thing up for like debate, like with me internally, like where'd that come from? And like I not to get too personal, but I definitely have seen it like in my family. And I think it was me subconsciously replicating it.
Oh, this is normal because this is what I've seen all through my childhood.
Yes.
So this is how
And then
I
you
should
get
act.
with, I would, for whatever reason, I said combine that with the fixer thing. And I think being the fixer in a relationship is inherently because you have low self-esteem. Then you do the people-pleasing to build someone up, and then they'll reciprocate you. Like, a lot of this is subconscious. I didn't fucking know I was doing this. But, like, looking back and, oh, that is kind of what I was like. I didn't think I was good enough for somebody who didn't need fixing, as egotistical as that fucking sounds. It's, like, both egotistical and low self-worth.
I think you have to be comfortable with your ego to be authentic and to be yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have a handle on it. You can't let it get out of control, obviously.
Like, I never went and met somebody like, oh, I'm better than them, so I'm going to get with them. No,
Yeah.
I saw myself at that person's level.
Yeah.
I didn't like think, oh, I'm better than this person. I'll bring that to my level. No, it wasn't like that kind of conscious.
It's like I see this person, maybe together we can grow.
Yes, it's kind of like the naive way of looking at it. But then when you grow, it's like, oh, they didn't see it that way though, because I didn't see myself as better. But somebody might say, oh, well, that person's like kind of like it becomes like a vertical relationship.
Yeah, and you're downplaying yourself.
I'm downplaying myself.
And they're upholding you, and now there's a mixed match of what people want here.
Yes.
You want to work together and grow together, and this person is inherently creating that vertical dynamic.
So it's like you gotta, if you have your self-worth, know who you are authentically, you're going to attract people of a similar level. Neither one of you has to do a fixer mentality or like a go down a level or try and like, oh, I have to get up to their level. It's like, no, if you're attracting people with your authenticity, you're going to probably attract people of a similar level of authenticity.
Yeah.
And that's just, I've always been, it's been either I'm the one low being fixed or I'm the one fixed trying to fix somebody. It's never been like I've never been in a fully horizontal relationship.
Yeah.
Like in any scenario, other than like with my friends. It's the only, and I said in this thing, the only people I've ever been authentic with is with my, like 100, I don't think I'm like I like playing people, but like not fully comfortable in my own skin unless I'm around like my close group of friends.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, I pride myself in I try to be as authentic as I can, but you definitely have to curate it when I had like an office job. Mm-hmm. You have to.
Yeah, you got to play a bit of a character, your corporate character.
Yeah, and that killed me. Hated it.
And that's why not everybody's cut out for that. I would probably argue most people aren't.
Yeah.
But some people are better at faking it for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
The pros outweigh the cons for them.
You gotta be. I'm trying to be the meest me that I can be.
Well, I guess this one, like I said, a lot of these tie in together. They build up. The next one,
tie it together.
The definition of hell is the person you are meeting the person you could have been.
Ooh.
And like I said, it goes and I tie that into like whenever you're. I have the idea that you get there and you didn't live an authentic life, and I said I don't want to conflate that with like, okay, say you're super successful and you're on your deathbed and you get like this mystical, you're going to the pearly gates and they show you like, hey, if you lived the life you wanted to, this is what you would have lived. Now, it doesn't mean you would have been more successful, like rich, famous.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're someone who did all that shit and you're like on your deathbed just like not fulfilled with your life, and then you look back, oh, there's me with a smaller house, but man, there's like me with a happy family and all this I could have done, and I look so happy. And it's
I don't like
fuck.
that.
It's like that's hell. That
that
is
is
hell. Like,
hell.
I said that's more scary than demons and unsolicited sodomy. I would take the demons and sodomy over having me like, wow, I just wasted.
Son of a bitch.
I wasted this life being fake. And now I also get fucking sodomized by demons. I mean, I don't know why I'd be going to hell. Maybe I'm bad and inauthentic.
Is being authentic bad itself? Is that a cardinal sin?
I don't know if it's like, I guess it depends on what you use inauthenticity for. If you're like manipulating people and taking advantage of people and manipulating and being terrible, then yeah, I guess then in that way you could rack up enough sin points to go to hell, get pegged by demons who
Is that
are
how that works?
working way too much.
I don't want to get pegged by demons.
Well, then don't go to hell, bud.
I don't even know if it's real. I don't even know if that's a thing.
I don't know. None of us know. Don't have the number. Don't have the stats.
I don't want to
on
get
it.
pegged by anybody.
Don't have the data on it.
Wish I did. I don't want to get pegged by demons.
Statistically speaking, this many people go to hell, and this many are satisfied with the
peggings.
Some people are going to be into it.
What do they do? Like give you a fucking survey review? It's just like, hey, fill this out. 1 to 10. How's the pegging?
The demons they're down there, they're just like, they're just overworked employees. And they're just like, it's like Beelzebub's just like, come on, man, it's pegging. It's 9 a.m. Like, no, man, I won't get pegged. It's like, dude, just get in the pit.
On.
Get in
you're
the
getting
pit.
paid.
I'm
peg
so
time.
fucking tired. Gurgagoth went out drinking way too much last night. We had so much hell beer.
Fuck is Gurgagoth?
Me and the boys went down to the hell bar, crop tops with the top off in the fucking coupe, and we fucking drove down to the hell bar, and we were fucking getting lit. And I'm not gonna deal with you fucking starting shit this morning, man. I got a quota to make. Get pegged. We know how this ends every time. You getting pegged.
It's 9 a.m. You strap in. You get 1,000 reps.
Like
1,000 pegs.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, dude. And I'm fucking tired. I'm hungover.
Right? So get your ass in there, strap up, spread the cheeks, start getting pegged.
And then when he comes out, he's like, here's a survey. How was the pegging today? He's like, come on, man. This has come down from corporate. This has come down from the big guy. If you don't follow, I get pegged, motherfucker.
This big guy downstairs is reviewing all these surveys.
And if I get pegged, you don't know what's coming your way.
You get double pegged. Why is it only pegging?
How do they do other shit?
You get whipped?
Like torture racks and getting stretched, not in a good way.
From the peggings?
Well, that too, but
It's just-
all kinds of shit goes down there. It's sodomy, man. Demonic sodomy.
You need to read Dante's Inferno. There's no pegging. There's no fire.
Oh yeah, there's different interpretations of hell, but I like the fire and brimstone one.
And the pagans. I think you're here for the pagans.
All right, man.
I don't trust
This
it.
isn't about me. All right,
I don't
that was
think it
fun.
is.
That was a fun detour.
I don't want pig, man. No,
What do you got?
Pig. Oh, okay. Here's some authenticity. You should never be ashamed to admit that you have been wrong. It only proves that you are wiser today than yesterday.
Boom.
Jonathan Swift.
I know that name. I don't know what he writes.
I don't know. I don't think it is. It's just a quote from The Art of Letting Go.
Oh, is he the writer of that?
No.
Oh, because I know that name.
There's just many people he quotes in there. Many quotes throughout there.
I don't know why that's.
I don't know who Jonathan Swift is,
I've heard the
but
name.
he said it. So you should never be ashamed to admit that you have been wrong. It only proves that you are wiser today than yesterday.
Yeah, that's a lot of this stuff. It's just like coming to terms. It's like the feeling brain. Feel your wrongs. Don't use them to the point where you become like a victim. Don't let them victimize you. But admit, yeah, that was fucked up. What happened to me?
Yeah, that sucked.
Like that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like, but no one has to be beholden. It's no one else's job to fix that for me. Like, oh, that sucks.
But it's like we made a bad decision. We learned from it.
Feeling brain, thinking brain, us collectively. Hey, we fucked up. Let's figure out how to not do that so catastrophically the next time. Catastrophically.
So catastrophically. Or do it at all, maybe. Maybe we learn. Maybe we make mistakes and maybe we learn from them. Maybe
You got to make mistakes, man, because you don't get perspective without the fucking mistakes. That's the sad reality of it all.
What?
You have to
don't
make the
have to
mistakes.
make mistakes,
Like this idea of
yeah.
like not avoiding mistakes. Like no, you got to make them. The idea is you want to make them, but have them not end in a way that's fucking terrible.
Oh, I don't trust anyone.
You
who
want to
hasn't-
mitigate damage. You need to learn resilience.
Yeah.
Like, you learn resilience, like because like these things are going to happen. If they don't happen, that's actually another problem. You need to have these things. If you go through a whole life, I've never had anything bad happen to you. You don't build resilience, but at the same time, you are less interesting of a person. You're a less authentic person because you don't have actual perspective. A lot of these things, you can give these cool, great quotes. Like I said, some of these were good early in the year. I didn't fully internalize them until I really sat down and really fucking thought about them at the end of the year. Like, oh, I did learn from these. I've been internalizing this, but like, it took me a while to really kind of let it sink in.
Yeah, figure it out. and
I can
fully
tell at
process.
17, they always have that thing where you can go, what if you went back and you could tell like your teenage self? It's like, probably fucking nothing, because I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I went back and tried to like change the trajectory of his life. And me as a fucking 17-year-old wouldn't know what to do with that information.
Yeah, fuck off, loser.
I don't have the perspective of like, get out of here, fucking time cop.
Yeah, 17-year-old me, like, yeah, whatever, loser. Get pegged.
Pegging was even a term we used back then.
I would have told myself to get pegged for sure.
Get bent.
Get bent, chubby. Get the fuck out of here.
Get bent, time cop. Yeah, you're me from the future. What are you, a sophisticated sex robot sent back in time? Fucking Shermanator, get out of here. Just fucking start roasting them. I'd be roasting like 30, like, I'd probably beat up. Then I'd beat up like 17-year-old. And that causes like a fucking butterfly effect because I kick my own ass in 2008.
What happens if you go back in time and kick your own ass in 2008?
Yeah, it's like, what does that do? I disappear probably.
What, do you? You wouldn't disappear.
Yeah, because then the whole future would change. That would cause something to change.
Yeah,
I would
change.
then.
You wouldn't disappear. If
I
you
would
just
change.
kicked his
I'd
ass.
be in a different place. I'd like wake up in a different house.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know that's why I'd be fucked. That's why I wouldn't do this because it's just like, no, this is not going to happen. And if it does happen, I'm kind of fucked. So I kind of am counting on 17-year-old me to not take my advice because I like where I'm at for the most part.
If there's one thing 17-year-old me would listen to is like buy Bitcoin and keep the flash drive.
Bitcoin wasn't even a thing then. It's like when Bitcoin comes out,
Whenever
Get
you
it.
hear about Bitcoin, it's 50 cents.
get it.
Get it. Get
Not
a lot
like the
of it.
rapper? No, not the fucking
No,
rapper.
not the fucking rapper, you fucking idiot.
He doesn't matter.
Whatever.
In a few years.
No, because that's the thing. I would get so snotty with myself.
Kanye West beats 50 Cent. And then Kanye West becomes a
listen.
fucking psycho.
When Bitcoin comes out, and
He
it's
makes
only
a gospel album. Like, no.
Shut up.
Shut up. Kanye's a
Shut
genius.
up, loser.
Get out here.
Kanye's a lyrical
You
genius.
had me for a moment. Get out of here, fucking John Connor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe that's exactly how it would go down. Fuck a loser. Kanye's a genius.
Kanye's a genius.
Kanye's a mentally stable genius. Fuck you, loser. You don't know anything. You
Ours.
haven't heard graduation? Fuck off.
Get out of here, old man.
Fuck.
Crazy. Vietnam vet.
I'm not afraid to hit an old man.
I'm like 32, looking like this.
I'm fucking old. Not afraid to hit an old man. Why don't you come here and tell me about 50-cent Bitcoin?
I get a feeling you're about to go down a dark path.
It terrorized 17-year-old me.
Next one, I don't have any fun stuff written. The blog's not done.
Okay.
At the time of recording this. When people are dedicated to their dysfunction, they are dedicated to misunderstanding you.
When they're dedicated to their dysfunction.
They are dedicated to misunderstanding you. Basically one of these things where, like, choose your words with the correct people.
Yeah.
Certain people, your investment and you're not going to, like we just talked about right there would be an example of me going to talk to 17-year-old me. Dysfunctional hormonal teenager going through a fucking crisis. He's making it his goal to be in a crisis. Like, me telling him wasting my energy is just going to piss me off.
Yeah.
It's just going to get me out of my comfort zone. It's like, and like nothing I'm going to say is going to matter anyways. You are dedicated to like tearing apart anything I say to you. So like,
Yeah.
it's like you have to pretty much choose who you're going to invest your wisdom
Like,
and your time into.
17-year-old me would engage in a conversation just to be a prick about it.
Yeah.
It would have fallen on deaf ears. It would have been nothing.
Yeah.
A useless trip back in time.
And that's like anybody in your life. Like, if like you are constantly having your words turned against you or taken in the wrong way constantly, where it's like, and I'm somebody who's very careful with my words and like really think about my shit, what I'm going to say.
Words have meaning.
So it's like whenever I say it, I'm like, and someone takes me completely in the wrong fucking way. It's just like, why? I go out of my way to over-explain things.
Yeah.
So like, if you're not understanding me, like you chose to take what I said in the worst fucking possible way.
Yeah, you came with a shitty attitude to make that shitty interpretation.
Like something about me, you took as a reflection of the words I said and twisted them in a way that makes me look like an asshole. And it's like, sorry, learn to like identify those kind of people. Like, all right, well, they come ask me for like advice, like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
That's when you set a boundary. Like, well, no, that person, no, they can figure it out themselves.
Yeah, they're not going to listen to anything that I say.
Not that I'm the fucking everything I say is gold, but it's like if you're asking for advice and you find a way to just like twist my words and make them into shit, like, yeah,
I'm done.
I'm good. I'm not wasting
I'm
that
done
energy.
offering.
I'm not gonna waste my time with her. Figure it out.
Figure it out. Good luck. Best of luck. Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing personal, but I'm not gonna sit here and like be disrespected like, trying to help you.
Yeah.
You're
What's the point?
You're good.
I have better things to do.
Yeah. So choose who you spread your wisdom with wisely.
I got all kinds of wisdom.
Big brain.
Big brain. Big good.
Big brain. Big thoughts.
Good brain. Think good.
Big.
Think brain. Good. Good big.
I got one more. Do you got one? You can wrap her up.
Do I got one more? I might have one more.
Got one more in you?
I got one more in me.
It's been a long one.
This is you go.
My final one. Dopamine is not the pursuit of happiness. It's about the happiness of pursuit.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, which was like the last podcast, but it's been a big one for me this year. Is that idea like learning to love the chase, basically. Like, yeah, like you're gonna get if you do the things, do the atomic habits and stuff, you will get to the goal you set. But just know when you get to that goal, the goal is not where the happiness lies, because you're just gonna set another goal.
Yeah.
Like know that that's a conscious thing that we as humans do that. We are goal-oriented beings.
We set goals and we achieve those goals, but then we have to.
The
make
problem
new
is when you
goals.
set an expectation for hitting that goal, and it's like, now I'm happy. It's like, no, you're going to be happy for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you're going to set a goal, but then they get sad because it's like, well, that didn't complete me. It's like, well, no, that wasn't supposed to complete you.
Yeah.
You're never complete. You're always a work in progress. So, like, no, it's have fun on the journey. You're Frodo and the gang and the Fellowship. You're on your journey. They're not a fun journey they're on.
No,
But you're going on a journey. You and your friends are frolicking through the fucking New Zealand wilderness. And you're going towards this next goal. You get there. It's like, cool, here. Okay, now we're going to go journey up this mountainside.
Okay, cool. And then you enjoy that process.
Enjoy that pursuit. Go frolic in that field.
It's not about, and when you do hit those goals, ride that high for a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah.
Feel accomplished.
Be in the moment. Smell the roses. But then just realize that whenever you get that feeling again where you stabilize again,
Yeah.
hit on a treadmill, it's like, oh, this is normal. I wasn't going to stay like that in a perpetual state. All right, now what are we doing now? and have like a positive mindset about it. It's that thing where it's like, it's that hedonic, like that heat-seeking missile of like, I'm going to get there and everything's going to be fucking perfect. It's like, well, now you're setting yourself up for fucking disaster.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Like, no, just have fun. Slice the garden, dig it, that kind of stupid shit. It sounds so stupid, but it's like, really, no, like, I'm trying to get to a certain body fat percentage. It's hard, but like, I enjoy going to the gym. So it's like, okay, when I get there, I get there. I'm going to do the things, the habits to get me there as efficiently as possible. But I know when I get to that goal, it's not like, well, yep, close the book on my life. I'm done.
That's
I'm
it.
calling it a life. I'm good.
Finish 12% body fat. This is it. I give up.
Well, it's like, no, now I'm just going to be on to the next thing. But just consciously knowing that that's how this works
Yeah.
gives me peace of mind knowing that that's just how this works. It's a roller coaster.
The piece of art is never finished.
Yeah.
Oh.
A thing I learned about recently, it's a cool idea. It's called the Michelangelo effect. Is the idea like he used it for like in relationships, but it's kind of just like a life thing. I think you can apply it to just about anything. The Michelangelo effect is you look at a block of just marble, and then he chips out the statue of David.
Yeah.
Like he sees that inside the block. So like look at yourself as a block. It's the idea that people in relationships see each other as blocks, and you see what's inside the block.
Yeah.
This is either a good thing or it can be a disaster because like sometimes you see good inside the block, but that person is not, willing to let that happen.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't that the analogy, because I remember that quote.
You're not trying to change a person, but you see all their potential inside that block of unhewn
And you're
marble.
trying to help them
them
that.
discover that inner person.
Yeah.
And they should be doing that for you. It's not fixing or changing them. It's just, hey, I'm revealing what's underneath that rock, that exterior.
Yeah.
But I think you can look at yourself in a similar way where it's like, oh, I see this block over, but I see what could be once I start chipping away at all the shit around it.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a good version of it.
I see what's going on here, and I want to help you become the best you.
Yeah. But apply it to yourself as
And
well.
that should be reciprocated.
Yeah.
I like that. The Michelangelo effect. We'll end it on this one. You are having a biological experience.
Hell yeah, brother.
I love that.
I do like that. It's like I literally will like say it to myself randomly.
Yeah.
I'm having like a bad day or even a good experience, bad experience. It's just like, hey, you're having a biological experience.
You're having a biological experience.
It's almost like a new way of saying this too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's a scientific way to say it is what it is.
It's like, hey, you're having a biological experience. Having a bad day, having a good day, feeling brain out of control today.
You're having an experience.
Lizard brain, monkey brain, all the brains, feeling brain, thinking brain. You're having a biological experience. So, out of all these notes and quotes and delicious tidbits of information,
Nice.
what are you taking into this dead time? What are you bringing into 2024? What's the one piece of advice?
Do not compromise your authenticity.
Do not compromise your authenticity.
That's like the one thing you truly have control of.
I like that.
Like, don't sell yourself out. Don't sell out your authentic self for cheap gain.
Be you. Be the youest you that you can be.
Yeah.
I'll be the meest me that I can be.
Being used would get you to the party. Why would you sacrifice it?
Why do you change your mask when you get to the party?
Yeah. Don't change the game plan that's working.
You got invited to the party because you're you. Keep being you.
Yeah.
To entertain the guest. I think mine is going to be stay the course. It's like stay the course, live the discipline, have the discipline, read, and then generate atomic habits.
Do the atomic habits. I was going to say, do atomic habits.
I'm going to read atomic habits, and then I'm going to implement
Apply
atomic
atomic
habits. And then I'm going to continue the discipline.
It has lots of pictures and graphs and like worksheets to do.
They have pictures.
It gives homework.
I love pictures. I'm also going to do the shadow work journal. I didn't do that.
Yeah. Do the work.
I can't really read, so that's good as
That's
pictures.
such fucking bullshit, but okay.
I'll look at the pictures.
That's part of atomic habits. Don't identify as someone who can't read.
I good read.
Yeah, you
Read good.
Big words.
Brain good.
Big read. Big brain.
Big podcast.
Big.
Find at YouTube, Spotify, TikTok.
You said it like Christopher Walken.
The kids
Check out the TikTok.
kids are on the TikTok.
Got the TikTok. Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, iTunes, your mom's bedroom TV.
That seems inappropriate.
She
I
has a
don't know why you
plan.
say
What?
that. Stayed in my mom's room. And the blog as well, even though there will be a blog for this episode.
Yeah, there was no blog for Fan Mail, but there is a blog for this one. There will be a blog next week.
And then every week after that, as long as things go to plan.
Yeah, and shit doesn't die on us.
Yeah.
So,
But hey, thanks for those who listen, been around for this short little period of the podcast, first 12 episodes.
you be you, keep being you,
Let's keep this going.
keep it rolling throughout 2024, and
Fun thing, if you got the whole way through this, I'll probably put it in the post. If you have some lessons learned from this year, please share them with us. Some
In-
favorite quotes,
in the comments below,
all that kind of stuff.
notes and quotes. I have an app called Notes and Quotes. Not an app. Note
Cool.
file.
Cool story, Hansel.
You're cool. It's so hot right now. All right, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
You be you, and keep having biological experiences.
It's been a real one, 2023.
Okay, gotta go bye.
Bye.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be weighing my patience. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky is gray. What would happen if I took a chance? It's always hard at first glance. I don't wanna, but I know I gotta do it. The truth is hard to swallow. I think I'll chew it. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew